Hello and welcome to MHA Digital Communities. I'm Abby, I'm your yoga teacher, and today we'll be doing some seated poses, mainly working the lower body. So what we need to do is just make sure we've got plenty of space around us, nice sturdy chair to sit on. I would recommend to not have any shoes on with this session, just so you can really work into your feet. We will be doing things like heel lifts, so we can really get into the big toe joint, the arches of the feet, so we can just really work the muscles of our feet. If we have shoes, then the shoes are doing a lot of that work for us. So if it's okay, then take the shoes off and just make sure you've got nice non-slippy floor around you, just so we're nice and safe there. So let's come and sit. So make sure you're sitting with those sitting bones nice and firmly on the chair. Make sure there's a slight sort of lean away from the back of the chair just to stop us slouching really. So let's just come and sit with a nice tall spine, feet flat to the floor, lifting up through the spine and relaxing the shoulders. Just let's think about the ears for a moment. So when we come to slouch or even just lean back into a chair, the spine is a little bit rounded and the head usually jolts forwards. So when we lengthen through the spine, just think about the back of the head just slightly pushing backwards. And what for me is easier to think about the ears over the shoulders, just so we have that length through the neck as well. So just sitting for a few moments with that tall spine, lovely posture, then just gently close down the eyes. And let's just give ourselves a quick body scan, seeing if there's any tension or tightness anywhere in the body. Just checking in before we start to move. So if you are looking after any injuries, any tension or tightness, just be mindful as you move through our practice today. So let's just start to check in with the breath. And let's start to introduce a slightly deeper breath. So let's start to deepen the inhale and deepen the exhale. So just making the effort now to fill the lungs and then just release all of that breath. So day-to-day breathing, we breathe quite shallowly. So let's just take this opportunity to really utilize all of those lungs, all the way deep down to the lowest part of the lungs. So we can relax, release on those exhales. And as we're moving and breathing, we're going to get the best out of our postures if we're utilizing those deeper breaths. So continue those long, deep breaths. And let's just start to gently blink the eyes back open. Wonderful. So keeping that tall spine, let's take the hands on the hips, soften the shoulders. What we're going to do first of all is just let the knee fall out to the side. So let's take the right knee out to the side and then just draw it back in. Really easy, just send it out to the side. Doesn't have to go too far, bring it back in. So you can either just move the knee, or if it's okay, let's roll over onto the outside edge of the foot. So what we're trying to do is just get into the feet, the ankles a little bit, and working those inner and outer thighs. So we'll go a few more times, just nice and easy. And as we start to bring in our lower body movements, just be mindful that we're keeping that tall spine, nice open chest. Because sometimes if our mind goes to the legs, we forget about the spine. So keeping nice and tall spine throughout. Lovely. Then from here, relax the shoulders, length through the neck. What we're going to do is just heel lifts. So lifting the right heel, dropping it down, lifting the left heel, dropping it down. So getting into a bit of footwork here. So lifting the heel just as high as it wants to go, no force. So as we're doing this, you might feel or notice any cracks, creaks, clunks. That's absolutely fine, normal, nothing to worry about. What we're doing is working into that big toe joint, arches of the feet, working into the ankles as well. So just go a few more times. Wonderful. Let's do one more each side. Keeping that tall spine, keeping the breath slow and flowing, and then relax the arms. Wonderful. So what we're going to do now is going to work into the hips a little bit. So when we work into the hips, we want to think about rotating. So rather than just moving the leg out to the side, we're going to let the knee drop. So similar to what we did at the beginning. So rather than just pushing the knee out, we want to allow it to almost fall out to the side. So we do have to have a little bit of control here, so don't completely flop it, just nice and gently rotating out. So I want you to think of maybe the inseam of your trousers spinning up to face the ceiling. So that's our option one. We're just going to let it fall out to the side. See how that is? If your hips are feeling really friendly to you today, what we're going to do is lift the leg and we're going to bring the ankle on top of the thigh. So we're crossing over the legs, making almost like this figure of four position. Now, if the hips are feeling particularly tight, the knee will be lifted, absolutely fine. We can definitely work with that. So what we're going to do is just take some few long, deep breaths. And what these breaths are doing is we're sending messages to that tension, that tightness to release. So when we hold the breath, the body goes into this, something's not quite right here. So making sure we're really utilizing those deeper breaths to relax into the stretch. So if you're with me with the ankle on the thigh, just gently pull back the toes so we have a little flexion of the foot there. Allow the knee to be heavy here. Relax the arms, either take the hands on the hips or you can just rest them there. You may want to rest them here, whatever is comfortable for you. So again, think tall spine, take a big inhale. As you exhale, just start to release, relax into that right hip. Inhale. Exhale. Go for one more. Big breath in. And a big breath out. Wonderful. We're going to gently release that back down. So if you're here, just gently bring that back in. So from here, allow the hips to stay as they are, bum nice and heavy on your chair. Relax your shoulders. So let's do second side. So first of all, let's just try our option one, sending the leg out to the side. So again, if you spin the foot, spin the knee, the thigh bone is still in the same position. So what we want to do is try and work this rotation. And again, we're not expecting a huge movement here, so let's not overdo it. Let's be nice to our legs and hips. So again, thinking about the inseam of our trousers, leggings, whatever you're wearing, to spin up towards the ceiling. And again, just breathing into this sort of outer edge of hip stretch, relaxing into it. Again, making sure you're using your breaths to relax, release that tension that the body might be just holding on to. If you're good to go, let's lift it, bring the ankle onto the top of the thigh. And again, if you feel like it's quite high, that's absolutely fine. We can work with that to slowly release it down. So a little flex of the foot. You don't have to go 100% here. So just making sure, maybe not even 50%, just a little bit of activation through the foot, just to keep this leg in position, relaxing the shoulders. Again, think of tall spine here. 3 long deep breaths. Take a big inhale to sit tall. Exhale, really relaxing into that left hip. Using the breath, inhale. Exhale. And one more big breath in, fill the lungs. As you breathe out, really soften into it. Complete that breath, and then let's gently bring the legs back down. Wonderful. If you're here, gently bring that back in. So what we're going to do here, making sure again you're nice and grounded through those sitting bones in your on your bum. Hands on the hips, relax the shoulders. What we're going to do is let's slide the heel forwards until the leg goes straight. So again, we want that flex of the foot, so think of the toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And all you're going to do is just send the heel a little bit further forwards. So as we slide the heel forwards, just think about really lengthening the leg. At the same time as sliding the heel forwards, I want you to think about this hip sliding backwards. So what I'm trying to get you guys to do is that two-way stretch. So the heel forwards, but the hip backwards. So you can really feel that lengthening through the leg. Nice, strong, active leg here. And that might be enough, sitting up nice and tall, lovely tall spine, and that length and strength through your leg. If you would like to take it a little bit further, what we're going to do is create a hinge of the hip. So think about where your hips are, and all you're going to do is just gently tilt forwards. So another one, we probably won't go very far, but you will feel this. So little engagement through the core, again, just so we're not collapsing through the spine. So keep that tall spine and just think of the ribs moving forwards. keep the toes pulling backwards so the toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. So you can really feel this stretch all the way from the back of the heel, all the way up, probably in towards your sitting bones, up towards your bum. And let's just take a few long, deep breaths. Keep thinking of lengthening through the spine on your inhale, and just gently softening into your stretch as you exhale. Take 2 more, inflating those ribs. Exhale, relax your shoulders. Go for 1 more. Exhale. Let's bring the shoulders back over the hips, bending through the knee, and bring the foot back to the floor. Now, because we've really activated this leg, you might just want to give it a little wiggle, a little shake off, just to release that then. No surprises, we're doing the second side. So hands on hips, relax the shoulders. Think about lifting the toes and then just sending that heel forwards. So again, we're thinking about this 2-way stretch. So think of the heel forwards at the same time the hip backwards. So again, think of really lengthening both ways through that leg. Making sure we've got a bit of work through the ankle here, so pulling the toes backwards. And as you pull the toes backwards, you'll feel a different sensation to them when you don't do that, so when you relax the foot. So really pull the toes backwards, it just starts to get us that long line through the back of the leg. And again, that might be enough. Keep sitting tall, breathing into that long and strong leg. Otherwise, let's create this hinge and it will just give us a little extra stretch. So think tall spine, inhale. As you exhale, let's create this hinge of the hips. Think of the ribs moving slightly forwards. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, think of the ribs slightly lifting up and away from the hip bones. Exhale, can we go a bit further forwards? Go for 1 more, big breath in. And a big breath out. Let's start to bring the shoulders back over the hips, bending that knee, bringing the feet back to the floor. Wonderful. And again, because we've had that long, strong leg, you might just want to give that leg a little wiggle. And while we're having a wiggle, let's do both legs. So again, hands on hips, relax your shoulders. Let's start with those heel lifts again. So lifting one heel, dropping it down, lifting the other heel, dropping it down. So just keep alternating between, and then we're going to work on a bit of coordination and do the opposites. So as you lift the right heel, you're going to lift the left toes, bring it back to ground. Lift the left heel, lift the right toes, bring it down to ground. So there's a bit of brain work, a bit of body work, a bit of coordination going on. So hopefully we can feel some ankle work going on, foot, calf muscles involved as well here. Just go a few more times. Keep breathing, long deep inhales, long deep exhales. Let's do 1 more each side. And then relax the feet. So let's lift both heels up really high, release them down. Big inhale as we lift, and then release them down. 1 more time, big inhale to lift, and release them down. Wonderful, relax the arms. Let's take a big breath in, reach both arms up high, hands meet at the top, and as you breathe out, bring the hands to the chest, and then just close down the eyes, gently bow the head. And for the next few moments, just check back in with the body. Check in with the legs, the feet, the ankles. Noticing if we're feeling any differently now. Maybe feeling a little bit more stretched out. And let's finish with a big breath together, breathing in. And then release your breath. Gently lifting the head. And blinking the eyes back open. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Hope to see you guys soon.